Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to a review on this product, Green Stuff's World Leaf Punch. I've got three of these doing different things, which I shall show you in a minute when we go down to the bench. They're mainly for making leaf shapes, obviously, and for dioramas. So I don't know if they would be of any real use on a war game scenario. You know, they do smaller leaves in the range of punches, so they might be something you could look into. But mainly, I've seen them on other people's dioramas, and I wanted to obviously have a play with them to put onto my own diorama and for ones in the future. So if you'd like to join me down at the bench, we'll look at these leaf punches and we'll go through what they do and you know, what you think of them. So I'll see you at the bench in a minute, guys. Alright guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. I wanted to give you a closer look at what these punches look like and what they do, and so we'll kick it off from there. So this is obviously, as it says plastered all over it, a Green Stuff World. That's the web address, and that's the reference number for this product. Just to give you, I'm not going to give you measurements of it, but roughly that's what it looks like in my hand. Gives you an idea on size. This one punches out leaves that are, I believe, mainly used for 54mm figures, 75mm figures, 90mm figures, although again, the world's your oyster. You know, we all get creative, and I'm sure you'll find uses for it in other scales. That's the oak leaf that they do. Obviously you press down on the white punch there, on the right, the white's, well, I don't know what you call it, but it punches it out anyway. You see the leaf shapes pushing through. Now they say on the website, and I've seen people do it, you can put natural leaves in there and punch them out, and you've already got the colours and things like that. They say you can also use card or paper, whatever your fancy is really, as long as it's, I suppose, it's not too thick. I go with this card. I'll show you some in a bit when I show you these leaves. First of all, it's not the time of year for me to go collecting leaves, and I'm not 100% sure, you know, how well if they'll degrade over time. Whereas I'm sure my card that I've put a bit of paint on should see the figure out on its base for years to come. So, I mean, by all means use leaves. Obviously that's what they've pushed it for, but as I say, they also say you can use card. You can. I didn't realise until I was reading the website before I made this video. These can actually be sharpened by using foil, you know, kitchen foil. Once in a while, put a piece of kitchen foil in and punch it out, or wax paper. And they say that's enough to just give the punch a bit of an edge should it start going a bit blunt. So there's our little punch, that's the green one. This is the grey one. They all have different colours. This one does 1 in 35 scale figures, I believe 1 in 48 as well, you know, going up 54mm. This is the one I was originally planning to get, and then I thought, well, I might as well, while making the order, might as well get you know, this larger green punch as well, just to give me a mix of leaves for either for the same base, because obviously all leaves, even off the same types of trees, can be different sizes depending on the season conditions. Again, natural leaf or some type of papery card does the same thing. Press down, pushes through. And that will give you a smaller leaf, but also a mixed. Now this gives you a mix, as you can see on here. And I've got this because obviously great, you can just have a scatter of leaves, it's fantastic. So yeah, that's the grey one. Now this one's slightly different. This orange, I think this is orange rather than meant to be yellow. This does like a small branch. I wouldn't suggest particularly using it for, you know, sticking in some type of tree scenario, but what I'm planning to do with them is to put a group together and make them into like shrubbery. Now the difference with this one is it does silver foil, So kitchen foil, it might do maybe slightly thicker, I've no idea to be honest with you, but the only kitchen foil we had in the house was a fairly cheap brand. It's really quite thin, and it obviously had no problems with that. You might be able to do thicker, but you'll have to practice. I would imagine this is going to keep sharp all the time then, if it keeps pressing out foil. But we'll go through now. We'll have a look at these leaves and see what we think. So let's see if we can. I'll move the camera over slightly for the moment. Let's see if we can get in. Right, we'll go green first, as it's the one the camera's picking up. Right, so this is the we'll call it 1 in 35 scale, but obviously 54mm in that as well. I've painted these. I'll give you a quick squiz at the card I've used. I bought this today, just like art card, whatever thickness that is. Was it a mil? This is what it's punched out. Now, so if that's the colour of the card, as you can see, and I've also, well, just got a shade of brown, just so you can get the idea of what I've painted. So that's like a browny, orangey brown. Now you could leave them completely like that, and I have seen people put them on the bases. I don't think it looks overly, it looks a bit like punched out card leaves, if that makes sense. These guys, so let's see. These guys, I did like to do with the stinging nettles. I've left some areas just card because it just naturally highlights, and I have put another highlight on top of the green. Now, I'm not 100%. I didn't want to paint these in World War II colours, because just like I found with the ivy on my base I'm working on at the moment. Let's see if we can get in. Where the hell are we? Here we are. With the ivy, we're using a lot of these World War II type colours. They are too matte green, if that makes sense. The reason I've used that type of card is we've got no bright whites edging, which is always a problem, so be careful what card you use. Try and get something like that that's dyed all the way through. I'll just pick up one of these larger leaves somehow. Will one pick up? Yep, here we go. And again, now what I can do with these is I've only done the one side, because even, you know, in a more natural state they're going to be lighter under one side anyway, and I can always just gently round these off around a cocktail stick or something, just to make them again a bit more natural, so they're not completely flat. So let's see if we can trundle along on our tripod. These are obviously the brown ones. Now these have had, on some of them, not this one particularly, this one's orange brown and orange ochre on top of the natural card, if you can see a card showing through there. And this guy here has had some cavalry brown. Now again, you know, you can see I've just put little streaks and splodges, but when they're actually down on the ground, they look more the part, if you can understand that. Let's just see if we can pick one of the large oak leaves up again. And again, just marked it with paint and left some card on there as well showing through. Now these here, I won't bother picking them up. I did try that silver foil punch on this card, the same brown card, and it really didn't want to know for whatever reason. It just wanted to punch out the silver, so it only literally did these tips, which, you know, again, they're great for scatter. It does, you know, it's done its job in that sense. And then let's go across to our nice shiny, it's like a 1970s Christmas tree. Again, let me have to put my hands under there just to, where he, right. Now again, I know that looks quite flat, but so did the leaves on the stinging nettles I've done on that base. If you go to my 54mm Native American French Indian Wars figure that I'm doing at the moment, you'll see a base on there that I'm putting together. So at first I thought with the MIG ferns and the MIG stinging nettles, I thought they're going to look really one-dimensional, really flat, but it's surprising. You put them in the right with the right backing and the right foliage, other foliage around them, and it's surprising. Now I haven't had time to actually give you any painted versions of this. I've literally thrown this video together as I usually do, really quickly, so you'll just have to bear in mind you know, what it looked like painted, and you will see a few of these on that base, so we'll be able to talk about that when I do the reveal at the end. Again, you can fold this to how you like. I'm going to obviously prime a chunk of it. I've got a whole pile, as you can see back there. I'll prime all those up, not necessarily for use on all in one base, but they'll be ready for when I do. You can have a mass leaf making session and paint them all out and then put them in separate baggies or envelopes, and then obviously they're all ready for whatever diorama you've got. But yeah, so far really impressed. Let's go back to our little leaf so we've got something to look at. Very impressed with what I thought I would be, though, because I've seen, as I say, so here's our green one. Let's see if we can back off slightly. There we go. There's our green one with our larger leaves, 54mm and above. Our grey one, which I believe approximately 1 in 35 upwards. And our orange one, which does our foil. Now they have other ranges, they have a few more. They even do a punch that does tiles, rounded tiles for roofs, Mediterranean roofs, and flat tiles as well, I believe. Again, just check it. I mean, they sell lots of different stuff. It's Green Stuff World, so they do a lot of green stuff, and all manner of weird and wonderful tools that can help your hobby along. So that's my little review on these leaf punches. Gav thinks they're very impressive. I think they seem to be made very sturdy. I mean, obviously a few punches, you know, you're not going to be able to tell straight away, but just holding them, they feel quite quality. And I look forward to having a go putting these leaves around my bases. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look, guys. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it might be useful to some of you if you're thinking of putting some type of diorama together. So you take care of yourselves, and we'll see each other soon on another video. Cheers.